What's up, you guys? After the footage here. Before we roll into today's story, just a quick heads up. If you love unsettling moments, unexplained clips, or those weird little mysteries that stay in your head long after the video ends, go ahead and hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. It really helps more than people realize. And while you're watching, if something catches your attention or makes you pause for a second, share it in the comments. I'm always curious about what people pick up on. Alright, let's get into it. I heard a statistic recently that actually made me sit up. Something like, billions of old phones are sitting in drawers around the world, and a surprising number of them contain files their owners swear they never created. It made me think, what's on my own old phone? So today, I'm opening it up. And honestly, I feel like I'm about to uncover something I wasn't supposed to see. Old phones are weird. They're like little digital ghosts of who we used to be. And sometimes, when you scroll through them, you find things that don't add up. Photos you never took. Voice notes you don't remember. Contacts that look wrong. That's what we are diving into today. The scariest things people have ever found on their old phones. Here's the thing about old devices. We treat them like storage boxes. We toss them aside and forget them. But they remember us. Every screenshot. Every late-night message. Every glitch. Every moment of silence we didn't even know they recorded. And the more I thought about it, the more uncomfortable I got. Because what if you find something on your phone that shouldn't be there? You pick up a phone you haven't touched in 4 or 5 years. It's dusty. Battery is low. You charge it up out of curiosity. The screen lights up, and there's a notification. A message received yesterday. But the SIM card has been removed for years. Or imagine scrolling through your gallery and suddenly stopping. Because the photo staring back at you is of your living room, at night, when you were asleep. Old phones can hold ghost stories without knowing they're ghost stories. They hold unexplained phenomena like a forgotten diary. And once you unlock it, the challenge begins. Are you ready to face what's inside? I went digging. Not literally. Although, honestly, some of these stories made me want to bury my own phone in the backyard. People all over the world have shared creepy discoveries from their forgotten devices. Things like a deleted folder that came back on its own. Someone said they kept deleting a folder called Keep Out. It kept reappearing every time the phone powered back on. Inside, blank images pitch black but with file sizes that didn't make sense. Strange apps no one remembers installing. One was simply called Visitor. It couldn't be opened. Couldn't be deleted. But it kept showing notifications at 3:33 a.m. Mysterious contacts. A number saved as the one who knows. No call history. But the phone insisted it had been dialed multiple times. Random videos shot at night. But the owner was out of the country at the time. You can hear faint footsteps. A soft thud. And then breathing too close to the microphone. These stories sound like urban legends, I know. But the eeriness comes from how normal everything looks at first. Just your average dusty phone, holding onto something that doesn't belong. But there's one story I found that honestly stayed with me long after I finished reading it. A college student bought a used phone. It was cheap, a little cracked, but functional. At first, everything seemed fine, until he opened the gallery. There was exactly one video. No thumbnail. No date. Just a black square. He clicked it. At first, it was pure static, like an untuned TV. Then a faint outline started forming. A person, or something shaped like one, rising slowly as if they were crouched behind the camera. The figure leaned forward, blurry, glitchy, almost melting into the screen. Then it whispered something. Just one word. Return. Now here's where it gets strange. The student dropped the phone in shock. When he picked it up again, the video had deleted itself. Completely gone. He tried using the phone normally, but weird things kept happening. The front camera would turn on by itself. The flashlight would flicker at night. Notifications he didn't understand kept popping up, like "I'm waiting." He returned the phone to the seller the next day. The seller looked at him and said, "Second time this month someone has brought it back." That part really made my stomach twist. Now let's go deeper, because that story opened up a whole rabbit hole of tech horror accounts. I broke them into categories because the patterns are actually scary. Ghostly photos on old phones. There's a guy who found photos of himself sleeping. Again, he lived alone. One phone had photos taken from under the bed. Another had images of hallways, but the house it belonged to didn't have hallways. And one woman found a picture of her backyard taken at 4:12 a.m. She zoomed in and saw something standing near the fence. Something tall. Something facing the camera. Deleted voice notes that reappeared. A man found a folder of voice notes labeled with dates from years ago. Except, the phone didn't even have a voice recording app back then. One recording was just breathing. Slow. Heavy. Like someone standing right above the microphone. Another had a faint whisper saying, "I found you." And the creepiest one? A voice repeating the owner's full name. Over and over. Bizarre technology glitches. Some phones restart whenever you try deleting certain files. Others open apps by themselves. There's a story of a phone that kept connecting to a Wi-Fi network called Let Me In. The network didn't exist in the neighborhood. Another phone kept autocorrecting normal words into strange phrases like, "He sees you." Unexplained contacts. Imagine opening your contacts and seeing a name you don't recognize. Behind you. Don't look. Home. The other one. Still waiting. And when people try calling the number, they hear nothing but static. Or the call ends by itself as if someone on the other end hung up. Strange apps that aren't really apps. People have found apps that don't open, don't delete, and don't show up in settings. One app named Watcher. Another named Shadow. Another named Open. None of them had icons. Just black squares. One person said every night at the same time, the app icon would brighten slightly, like it was glowing. Messages sent after the phone was dead. This one honestly got to me. Old phones that were switched off for years, suddenly showing messages sent from them. Things like, "Are you there? Wake up. I never left. Still here." And the timestamps? Recent. But the story that really feels like the top of all tech horror stories is this one. A guy found his grandfather's old phone. The man had passed away years earlier. The family kept the phone as a memory but eventually forgot about it. One day, out of curiosity, he turned it on. Instead of the usual home screen, he found one photo. Just one. It was a picture of him, taken recently. He was standing outside the house, holding the phone. He thought maybe someone hacked it. Maybe a glitch restored an old image and twisted it. But then he noticed something that made his hand shake. In the reflection of the window behind him, you could see another figure. One that wasn't there. And below the photo, the phone displayed a message. "Don't forget me." The phone powered itself off and never turned on again. So yeah, old phones aren't just dusty pieces of tech. They're tiny haunted houses. Little boxes full of memories, glitches, strange moments, and sometimes, things we can't explain. It's funny how something so familiar can still surprise you in the darkest way. Now I'm curious. Have you ever found something weird or creepy on an old phone? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear it. And if you love stories like this, check out my other videos. Trust me, that one will keep you up at night.